Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, without saying a single word? No grand gestures, no need to impress, just presence. It feels powerful, right? Almost like magic. But here's the truth, it's not magic. And it's definitely not luck. It's mindset, shaped by intentional action, repeated over time, and fueled by a deep, unshakable belief in oneself. The ancient Stoics understood this long before modern psychology gave it a name. They taught that our inner world directly sculpts our outer reality. Just as a skilled artist turns raw marble into a statue, one careful stroke at a time. Now imagine showing up in any situation with a calm, quiet assurance, like someone who's already overcome the obstacles that lie ahead. What would life feel like then? What if, just what if, you stopped waiting for confidence to magically appear and started acting like you already had it? Even when you're unsure, even when the path is unclear. Because this isn't arrogance, it's practice. It's the understanding that confidence is earned, not wished for. That every brave step forward adds weight to who you are becoming. Act as if, the Stoics would say, not because you're pretending, but because each action creates momentum. And momentum builds belief. And once that internal flame of confidence is lit, even as just a flicker, it grows stronger with every deliberate choice you make. One step, one moment, one decision at a time. You see, confidence doesn't strike like lightning. It rises like the sun, slow, steady, unstoppable. And the Stoics? They knew this better than anyone. They didn't wait for life to get easier. They didn't hope the storm would pass. They learned how to dance in the rain, fully present, fully aware, because life, in all its chaos, rarely gives us control over what happens. But it always gives us control over how we respond. So ask yourself, what would change if you stopped hesitating and stepped into each moment like you already belong there? This isn't about faking it. It's about discovering the stronger version of you, the one that grows by doing. By choosing action over fear. By walking forward even when the road is foggy and steep. Confidence isn't built in a single moment of bravery. It's carved slowly, like a river shapes the land, through quiet, persistent movement. Picture a mountaineer climbing a rugged, icy peak. Each step is intentional, each breath measured. They don't wait for perfect weather, they move through the cold, the wind, the uncertainty, because they understand. Progress doesn't come from clarity. It comes from commitment. This is what the Stoics taught, not perfection, but persistence. Not waiting for the world to give you permission, but choosing to rise, again and again. And from this steady, unwavering effort, true confidence is born. But what happens when that mindset begins to shift everything? Your choices, your relationships, even how the world responds to you. Let's explore that next. Previously, we explored how confidence isn't something we wait for, but something we build. One intentional action at a time. Now, let's dive deeper into that journey. Becoming the best version of yourself is much like climbing a mountain. There are no shortcuts, and no room for carelessness. And on that climb, confidence is like tending a fire. At first, it's just a spark, fragile, easily extinguished. But with care, consistency, and the right fuel, it grows into a steady flame, one strong enough to stand against the wind. The Stoics believed that this fire already exists within each of us, waiting patiently to be nurtured. They taught that we must act as if we already possess strength, even when doubt lingers in the background. That doesn't mean denying fear. It means seeing it, acknowledging it, and choosing to move forward anyway. Every time you act in the presence of fear, you feed that inner fire, turning a flicker into a blaze. So, how will you choose to act today? Will you wait for confidence to magically appear? Or will you create it, step by deliberate step? The Stoics remind us, the journey toward our best selves doesn't begin with grand gestures. It begins with small, consistent decisions made each and every day. Choose to act as if you are already capable. Choose to face challenges with the quiet assurance that comes from knowing you are already walking the path to mastery. Because confidence isn't something we stumble upon. It's something we build. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, often reminded himself of life's brevity. He believed that because life is so fleeting, we must live with purpose and bold conviction. He taught that in this short existence, we define who we are, not by what we say, but by how we act, moment by moment. According to Aurelius, life is like a passing breeze. You can stand still, waiting for the perfect gust, or you can spread your wings, letting every current lift you higher. There is no perfect opportunity waiting to appear, because time, cold, relentless, and indifferent, does not pause for hesitation. And when you act as if you are already the best version of yourself, there's no need to boast. Your actions, rooted in consistent effort and quiet discipline, will speak louder than any words ever could. Think of a modern-day athlete. Before stepping onto the field, they've already envisioned every move, every victory, and every setback. That mental preparation is key. It's something the Stoics understood intuitively. Even without today's sports psychology, they knew that mental rehearsal lays the foundation for excellence, a foundation where every movement has intention, and every choice is purposeful. To act boldly in life, Aurelius believed, we must confront our mortality directly. You could leave life right now. He wrote, let that stark truth push you to live courageously, and to seize each moment with all your heart. If Marcus Aurelius reminded us that life is short and each moment deserves to be fully lived, then what follows is this: we must stop waiting and start acting. Live without hesitation. Treat every day as a rare chance to leave nothing undone, because in this fleeting life, time rarely offers a second invitation. There is no space for timid steps. There is only the urgency, the inner call, to act as if you already are the person you aim to become. Because becoming doesn't start with wishing. It starts with doing. But let's be clear. Acting as your best self doesn't mean pretending you're flawless. The Stoics weren't dreamers, they were realists. They fully acknowledged human flaws, but they refused to let those flaws become excuses for inaction. Aurelius believed in facing oneself with radical honesty, but never in surrendering to despair. He saw life as an ever-evolving canvas, where each brushstroke, perfect or imperfect, contributes to the final masterpiece. Imagine your life as a living painting. Every decision, every step, is another stroke of color. Even your mistakes add depth. They don't ruin the art, they shape its soul. Think again of the modern athlete. They don't just visualize triumph, they also accept failure as part of the journey. They fall, they stumble, but they get back up. And the Stoics would say, whether in success or setback, the act of striving is what shapes you into who you are meant to be. In their eyes, greatness was never about perfection. It was about persistence. The urgency Aurelius spoke of wasn't only about grabbing rare opportunities. It was about being truly present. Life's brevity isn't meant to cause panic. It's meant to inspire presence. Picture a sunset. its beauty lies not in permanence, but in its transience. We treasure its colors precisely because we know they won't last. Likewise, the shortness of life should move us to act with clarity and purpose. Don't wait for confidence to find you. Build it by moving forward, even when you feel unprepared. Every moment you hesitate is a brushstroke left off your canvas. Confidence, like any other skill, is something you cultivate not by waiting, but by doing, especially before you feel ready. Aurelius taught, "It is in the doing, not the waiting, that we transform into the person we hope to become." So ask yourself, what would it look like to live boldly, with intention, even when the path ahead feels uncertain? The Stoics understood that uncertainty is not a wall, it's a companion, quietly walking beside us on the path of life. Life is not a straight road. It's a vast, shifting landscape, and in such a landscape, you don't wait for it to become familiar. You step forward, you explore, and you learn as you go. When you act as if you already are the best version of yourself, you begin to bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to become. And the Stoics would remind us, greatness isn't some final state. It's a process, a daily unfolding, built by consistent decisions and unwavering commitment. But then comes the question, what stops most people from taking that first step? More often than not, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. We've seen how fear often stands in our way. But to the Stoics, fear isn't the enemy, it's merely a shadow, a challenge that loses its grip when we choose to face it head on. What if fear isn't the monster we make it out to be, but simply a shadow we cast with our own mind? The Stoics believed that fear is often an illusion, something born in our thoughts, not in reality. And like any shadow, once you face it directly, it starts to fade. Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught a powerful truth. It is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. This insight remains deeply relevant today. He compared fear to a cloud passing overhead. It might appear dark and heavy, but eventually, it drifts away. It's temporary. It doesn't define you. When you act as if you are already your strongest self, you're not denying fear. You're simply acknowledging its presence and choosing not to be ruled by it. Imagine fear as a dog barking behind a fence. It's loud, it's intimidating, but does it truly pose a threat? Only if you let it. You don't have to run, you just have to keep walking. Every time you act despite fear, you weaken its hold and build your inner strength. Fear thrives on attention. The more you dwell on it, the bigger it feels, casting longer shadows on your life. But when you greet it calmly, it loses its grip. Think of standing on the edge of a diving board, heart pounding, thoughts racing with what ifs. But the moment you jump, fear vanishes. What replaces it? Adrenaline, joy, a surge of pride that you did it anyway. This is what the Stoics understood. Fear is at its most powerful right before you act. And the only way to shrink it is to leap. Epictetus reminded us, courage is not the absence of fear, it is choosing to move forward in its presence. When you act as if you are already who you aspire to be, you take fear's power away. You say, you don't get to choose for me. In modern times, philosophers like Massimo Pigliucci continue this tradition. They teach that fear is part of life, but it doesn't have to be a cage. Instead, it can be a signal, a sign that you are growing, that you've stepped beyond your comfort zone. Every time you act as if you already are the person you want to become. You're rewiring your brain. You're building new patterns, ones rooted in strength, resilience, and confidence. Picture a narrow trail through a dense forest. At first, it's overgrown, hard to walk, but with every step, the path becomes clearer. Soon, it's easier to follow. That's what happens when you take action. Even while afraid, you carve out a path to inner confidence, step by step. Day by day, modern Stoic thinkers remind us, acting as if you are your best self isn't about performing. It's about living in alignment with your values. It's staying true to your principles, even when no one's watching. It's not about being praised. It's about quiet conviction, the kind of confidence that grows silently, like the roots of a great tree. Invisible to the eye, but strong enough to hold everything above it. When you live with integrity and courage, even in the presence of fear, you begin to cultivate a quiet kind of confidence. One that doesn't demand attention, but draws it naturally through calm strength and steady presence. When you carry yourself with the quiet poise of someone who truly believes in their purpose, others are drawn to you, not by loud words or self-promotion, but by your unwavering presence, one that stems from consistency and authenticity. Picture yourself walking through a thick fog. The path ahead is unclear. Every step requires trust, not in the ground beneath you, but in your own judgment. And that, the Stoics would say, is what matters most. They taught us that trust in the process is more powerful than certainty in the destination. Even hesitant steps matter. Each one strengthens your foundation. Brick by brick, layer by layer. This kind of self-trust isn't accidental. It's built through daily reflection, disciplined action, and patient effort. And once developed, it becomes your internal compass in the midst of life's storms. Think of a lighthouse standing tall against crashing waves. It doesn't flinch, doesn't falter. It shines steadily, offering guidance, not through noise, but through its very presence. To act as if you are your highest self means to remain steady, even when everything else is chaos. This is the essence of Stoic strength, a grounded presence that quietly inspires those around you, not through grand gestures, but through purposeful repetition over time. Consider how small, deliberate acts, repeated day after day, can lead to monumental transformation. Each disciplined choice is like a drop of water hitting stone, insignificant on its own, perhaps, but given time, that water can carve a canyon. To act as if you are already your best also means accepting uncertainty, and even embracing imperfection. The Stoics never demanded perfection. They encouraged progress. Modern thinkers like Massimo Pigliucci echoed this wisdom, reminding us that to live by your values means recognizing the detours as part of the journey, not signs of failure. Imagine a traveler lost in an unfamiliar forest. They may feel unsure, but they keep moving forward, not guided by a perfect map, but by a deep, internal compass. That compass? It's your commitment to personal integrity. Even when the road twists and turns, your values keep you headed in the right direction. So how do you embody this Stoic mindset in your everyday life? Start by identifying your core principles: courage, discipline, perseverance. Then align your actions with those values. Step by step, choice by choice. You may not notice immediate results, but over time, your consistency becomes strength. A quiet strength that resonates louder than any form of external validation. The Stoics remind us that mastery is not a single act. It's the product of continuous, intentional effort. much like the tide slowly shaping the shore. Your daily actions slowly sculpt the best version of you. So pause and reflect. What would that version of you do in this moment? Would they procrastinate or take initiative? Would they complain or seek a solution? Epictetus once said, "Well-being is achieved through small steps, but it is truly no small thing. Every decision either builds your potential or weakens it. Choose wisely." Behind each small, disciplined choice is a long journey of resilience. But what happens when you stumble? To the Stoics, setbacks weren't an endpoint, they were an essential part of the climb. You will face setbacks, again and again, but instead of seeing them as signs to give up, the Stoics saw setbacks as necessary steps on the path of growth. They weren't obstacles to dodge, they were invitations. Opportunities to develop, to refine your character, to live your virtues, especially when it's hardest to do so. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is a philosophy grounded in resilience and adaptability. Imagine a river encountering a massive boulder. Does it stop? No. It bends around it, flows over it, until eventually, the rock begins to wear down, not through force, but through steady, persistent movement. That's the mindset of someone who lives as if they already are their best self. They don't fight life's struggles. They move with them, they adapt, accept, and grow. They stop seeing challenges as roadblocks and start seeing them as necessary elements of the journey. The Stoics taught that struggle is not just natural, it's vital, just as resistance builds muscle. Adversity builds character. Picture yourself lifting a heavy weight. It's not the weight itself that strengthens you, it's the effort. The resistance. The moment your body wants to stop but your mind says, "One more time." Confidence is forged the same way. To act as if you are already the best version of yourself means confronting challenges head on, knowing they're sculpting something stronger inside you. More importantly, setbacks test your loyalty to your values. Anyone can stay true when things are easy, but when the road gets tough, who do you become? Picture a sculptor facing a block of raw marble. Each strike of the chisel doesn't destroy, it reveals. Every chip removed is one step closer to the masterpiece within. Just like that, every challenge you face reveals the stronger, wiser version of you underneath the surface. The Stoics would tell you, welcome these moments not with dread, but with gratitude, for the wisdom they offer as your journey continues. Remember, setbacks are temporary, but the lessons they bring are lasting. When you embrace obstacles as a natural part of your path, something powerful happens. You don't just push through, you evolve. You gain clarity, strength, and the calm presence to help others navigate their storms. You become like the river, carving your own path and inspiring others to find theirs. Living as if you are the best isn't about pretending to know it all, it's about staying open, curious, and humble. Even Socrates, one of the greatest minds to shape Stoic thought, famously said, "I know that I know nothing." That humility? It's not weakness, it's power. It keeps us grounded, and it keeps us growing. When you approach life with the mindset of a learner, you don't just collect information, you cultivate wisdom. You question, observe, and welcome new perspectives. You don't cling to being right, you reach for being better. Picture a student, eyes bright with curiosity, eager to absorb everything. That hunger to learn isn't childish, it's the fuel of true confidence, because real greatness isn't loud, it's steady, focused. Always learning, always becoming. Humility and a willingness to learn don't just help us go further, they keep us grounded through life's challenges. And that's exactly what sets apart those who relentlessly pursue the best version of themselves. What sets the best apart is not that they have all the answers, but that they never stop seeking them. They understand something simple, yet profound. The journey of learning doesn't end at some final destination, it continues, moment by moment. Lesson by lesson. The best are not those who have arrived. They're the ones who keep moving forward, driven by curiosity, persistence, and a hunger to grow. Picture an explorer stepping into uncharted territory, no map in hand, no clear path ahead, yet they continue, not out of certainty, but out of courage to discover. That's the mindset the Stoics lived by. True strength lies not in rigidity, but in adaptability, in the daily willingness to show up and grow. To act as if you're already the best version of yourself doesn't mean pretending to be perfect. It means approaching life as a student, unafraid of mistakes, open to learning, and knowing that every experience, success or struggle, carries a lesson. In fact, this willingness to learn is what builds true resilience. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. When you act as if you're already the best, you commit to growth, to gaining deeper understanding through every challenge. The Stoics believed that life's greatest teachers aren't victories alone, but the trials that test and shape us. By adopting this view, you create a mindset that keeps moving forward, no matter the circumstance. So ask yourself, what can I learn from today? Every moment holds potential insight, if you approach it with humility and curiosity. The Stoics remind us that mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey, paved by those who choose to learn at every turn, through both success and failure. Those who act as if they are the best become students of life, constantly evolving into stronger, wiser versions of themselves. Ask yourself, what story am I telling through my actions? The Stoics believed that character isn't revealed by what we say, but by how we live. If you act timidly, you're telling the world you question your own worth. But if you act boldly, you show the world you believe in your purpose and potential. Imagine life as a grand stage, and you are both the actor and the playwright. Each decision, each action, another line in your story. You can let fear and doubt write your script, or you can step forward with conviction, embodying the person you aspire to become. The Stoics would urge you, act as if you were meant for greatness, not by shouting it, but by letting your actions speak louder than words. To the Stoics, bold action wasn't reckless bravado. It was thoughtful courage, and every moment, a blank page for you to prove it. If every action writes a line in the story of your life, then repetition is how you craft a chapter of meaning. And it's this steady persistence that shapes who you are becoming. The Stoics believed that greatness doesn't come from grand declarations, it emerges from consistent, deliberate action, not from loud words, but from quiet, authentic effort. Picture a stage actor performing night after night. The first performance might be filled with nerves and hesitation, but with each repetition, they grow more comfortable, until they command the stage with ease and confidence. In life, we are all actors, rehearsing daily. Each decision is a line in our script, and over time, we begin to embody the greatness we've been reaching for. The Stoics understood this deeply. Destiny is not something we wait for, it's something we create, one courageous action at a time. There is immense power in repetition. That's why the Stoics practiced daily reflection, to reinforce their values, sharpen their clarity, and remain steady in who they were becoming. They knew that true mastery doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort, but from consistent, intentional practice over time. Modern psychology supports this idea. Habits, repeated thoughts and behaviors, have the power to reshape the brain. So when you consistently act as if you are already your best self, you're not pretending, You're rewiring your mind to believe in your own capability. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. At first, the soil seems unchanged, but beneath the surface, roots are forming, absorbing nutrients, preparing to sprout. In time, those seeds grow into something beautiful, a thriving garden that stands as a quiet testament to patience and perseverance. Don't underestimate the power of small daily efforts. Even the tiniest actions accumulate over time, like drops of water slowly filling a jar. Picture an artist spending years refining their craft. At first, the brushstrokes are rough, the lines uneven, but through daily repetition, those strokes become fluid, and the lines take on a life of their own. That's the process of mastery. Not instant perfection, but consistent progress. Think of a stonecutter hammering away at a rock. The first strike barely leaves a mark, but blow after blow, the stone eventually splits. Each individual strike seems small, but together they create powerful transformation. This is why the Stoics valued routine and reflection so highly. By regularly reviewing their actions and aligning them with their principles, they ensured that their progress was steady and meaningful. Whether it's journaling at night or setting intentions in the morning, these small rituals act as both anchors and compasses, keeping you grounded and guiding you toward the best version of yourself. As we've seen, small, consistent actions build momentum, and over time, that momentum transforms us. Now, the question is, why wait to feel ready when action itself is what creates readiness? Why hold back when you can begin now? The Stoics never believed in waiting for perfect conditions. They believed in movement, especially in the face of uncertainty. Seneca once wrote, "Life is long, if you know how to use it." Waiting for the ideal moment is a trap, an illusion in the desert of hesitation. The idea of the perfect time is a comfortable excuse, crafted by fear and disguised as logic. But in reality, it's what keeps us stuck, forever preparing but never starting. It's not the person who waits who lives fully, it's the one who dares to act. Even when everything isn't perfect, picture an artist staring at a blank canvas. They don't wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. They pick up the brush and begin, trusting that through each stroke, no matter how clumsy at first, a masterpiece will eventually emerge. It's through the act of doing that creation is born. Each decision, each stroke, brings them closer to their vision. Hesitation becomes bold expression. An artist knows, if they wait for the perfect mood or moment, they risk missing the magic of creation itself. Now imagine a mountaineer standing at the base of an uncertain trail. They don't wait for the weather to be perfect. They climb, step by deliberate step, because they know that confidence grows with the climb. Not before it. They trust their training. They trust their resilience. And with each upward step, they become stronger. This is the Stoic mindset in action. Do not wait for clarity. Create it through movement. Life won't hand you a sign that says, "Now's the time." Instead, it offers challenges, masked as obstacles, and it's your response to those moments that defines who you become. So ask yourself, will you wait for confidence to appear, or will you build it through action? Confidence is not a rare gift reserved for the chosen. It's a muscle, built through consistent effort and intentional movement. Think of a potter shaping clay at the wheel. Each touch, each spin, refines the form. It's not perfection from the first attempt, it's persistence that molds the shape. When you act as if you are already the best, you're not pretending, you're shaping. Every movement, every careful adjustment, brings you closer to your ideal self. And that transformation? It isn't sudden. It's born from persistence and purpose. Not from waiting. From the smallest actions. You've already begun to touch great change. And now, all that remains is to keep moving forward, with intention and courage. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and act as if you are already the person you strive to become. Because here's the truth. That version of you already exists, not in some distant future, but within you right now. You just have to bring it to life, one deliberate, intentional action at a time. Think of it like a sculptor facing a block of marble. At first, it looks like nothing more than a shapeless stone. But with every strike of the chisel, the hidden figure begins to emerge, a nose here, a curve there, each piece falling away to reveal what was always within. That's what you're doing each day. Every moment of courage, every decision to try, carves away doubt and reveals more of your potential. Now imagine standing at the edge of your future, wide open, full of possibilities, waiting to be shaped by your hands. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. The world isn't pausing. Time doesn't stop to ask if you're confident yet. So why should you? The time to act is now. Not tomorrow. Not when everything feels perfect. Because life is happening, right now. And every moment you step forward, you get closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Don't remain a bystander in the gallery of your own life. Pick up your brush. Paint the masterpiece only you can create. Life is not a rehearsal. It's an ongoing act of creation, every bold stroke shaping your personal journey. And yes, there will be imperfections, but don't run from them. Embrace them, because those flaws, they give your story character. They give your canvas texture. They are what make your masterpiece human and real. Growth doesn't bloom in certainty. It blossoms in uncertainty. And each time you take a courageous step forward, you're proving, both to the world and to yourself, that you are moving closer to the person you were destined to be. Picture an artist blending shades of vivid reds, soft blues, deep shadows. Each color, no matter how light or dark, adds richness. Your life works the same way. It's not about waiting for the right moment or perfect feeling. It's about showing up, about choosing, again and again, to act, despite fear, despite doubt. So take that next step, paint that next stroke, and watch your masterpiece unfold, not all at once, but one bold, intentional move at a time. And here's something beautiful. Your courage becomes contagious. Your decision to act doesn't just shape your own life, it inspires others to pick up their brushes too. To begin creating their own stories, right alongside you. In a world full of hesitation, be the one who dares. Be the one who creates with intention. Each step you take, each action you choose, ripples outward. A reminder that greatness is not found in waiting, but in doing. Together, our actions become threads in a greater tapestry, a powerful creation woven from individual masterpieces. Each one born from a single, brave choice, the choice to begin.